We are live. This is the market update. I am your host, Bill Noble. It is a beautiful morning to once again break the internet, reminding you that every time you see red ink, you should be hoovering up the market. If you're not convinced, I'll convince you. We will also look at the charts and see that the market is fully in BTFD mode. I can't say what that means on the air, but I think you get the idea that at 77, Bitcoin was radioactive, but at 105, it's much more attractive for Middle Eastern governments, corporations, the U.S. Senate, right? So we're not doing stable coins. So what are we doing? Actually, who's we? They're not doing stable coins. So what are we doing? I can tell you what we're doing, people. We're buying every kind of crypto we can get our hands on, right? I mean, I got like a term paper that says XRP is going to 60. That like math that says it can happen. Can you imagine that? You imagine a FOMO in this market if it took out 3? Like really took out 3. Can you imagine? Don't think it can happen? Don't go anywhere. By the way, this artificial intelligence trade is like this close from being the most like viral, insane thing inside of crypto. Everyone's writing, oh, the equity markets come back. Oh, yeah, NVIDIA is up 20%. Dude, who cares? Tau is like up 1x off the lows. And this is the beginning. It's the beginning. Don't believe me? Stick around for the PowerPoint. Skynet's out there talking again. Trust me, it's amazing. There's only one person on the planet Earth who's going to push back against Skynet, and we all know who that is, John McAfee. 6 million market cap on the way to 10, and it's relevant to bring up because, again, this AI trade, there's like a Skynet podcast of the day. We will, of course, go through that as soon as we welcome who's here. Yav, good morning. Zapedas. DH, hello. Good morning from England. Ben, ski to the moon. I would be so happy if that happened. Get those base coins moving. Okay, MJ hits, no tax would be awesome. I don't know. I got a friend who thinks that they are going to do something like that. SG, the original peaceful boy. Where's the market taking us today? Ask Mitchell. Dude, it's just buy every dip. It's buy every dip until you don't get dips. People are afraid of the dip. I saw something from one influencer that says this is the easiest bull market ever. It's the most textbook bull market ever, right? Because they're always shaking you out. And then when people realize, oh God, that was all a fake out, they're going to come in all at once and it's going to be complete lunacy. All right. So, hello, sir. Since the dollar is falling, how can we benefit through currency exchange? Please, I'm from England. Okay. Well, I think the first thing I would tell someone in England is, don't say the wrong thing on Facebook and don't get involved in any fighting on the streets because, Zero Hedge has that whole thing cranked up. So stay safe, right? Situational awareness. Now, how can you benefit from a currency point of view? Well, I mean, the dollar has to go lower. They want it lower. I think they're done cutting rates in England. And I think at the end of the day, dude, if you're looking for currency appreciation, it has to be Bitcoin and Ethereum or anything related. I know that's boring, but I mean, what am I going to do? Tell you to switch your sterling for Swiss francs? Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. Like, look at this. Start with this. Oh, I forgot to welcome who else was here. Sorry, Kamenko. Hello. Tyler, Horace, Thomas, Gian, Old Smoky. Am I going to shoot lasers from my eyes? Dude, I'm so ready. You have no idea how ready I am. You thought I was bullish when this market was in the toilet. Now I'm just like, I'm crazy. Here we go. The U.S.-China trade war is over. Hey, he must watch the show. Well, it's resetting for 90 days so we can do a long-term deal. Better deals for reindustrialization. Get the factories over here. If the factories are all going to be run by robots, they might as well be run by our robots. So get as many factories over here or whatever you can get over here as you can. Declare victory and move on to the next popular thing, which is tax cuts and Bitcoin. Right? And wait till you see Doomberg. Like Doomberg doesn't have a tariff headline this morning. And when tariff talk tops, Bitcoin doubles. Can you imagine what the rest of the market is going to do? Now, I don't know if he's on your side because it feels like they're running kind of a crypto crime family in a way, right? With the speed that they're getting into crypto, we'll have a little laugh about that. But, you know, they're not going to block the orange man from using whatever data that they have to find anybody who's not supposed to be here, right? They're going to get after this thing. Like, you know, there was some geopolitical stuff with the Middle East where they kind of broke it off with an ally. And I think they're embracing, you know, there was kind of a right-wing rebellion, you know, like we want the people who aren't supposed to be here not here anymore. And you know what? They're going along with that. And you got to face facts. What the orange man wants, the orange man's getting. Period. So hopefully that includes Bitcoin. Again, crossing my fingers that they haven't sent JD Vance to the Bitcoin conference to tell everybody how much they like Bitcoin. But again, at 70, 77, no one liked it, but at 105, it's way more attractive. Student loan delinquency set to jump tomorrow, right? Brandon pushed all this off until after the election. Okay, so young people, hosed, destroyed, right? We got to establish a new financial system for the kids to move over to. And we got to get memes going because that's a way for them to participate on Solana. And I think he's got to get tax relief to anybody below 150. Like the only way these kids are ever going to be able to pay this debt, he's got to get credit card interest rates, you know, to 10% for 6 months. And he's got to get checks. I think, you know, well, they got to get some kind of cuts to save the bottom half of the economy, or they're just going to fall into the ocean, right? Everybody at Wall Street thinks the recession was going to start. That's a joke. As I've said, we've been in one, and the only solution to all of this is crypto. It's only one solution. Like the whole world is up here, and then everybody's going to funnel down into crypto. Everybody. U.S. Treasury shocks with the second biggest budget surplus in history. That's right, a surplus. The orange man making tons of money from whatever it is they're doing with the tariffs. Remember Ray Dalio? What happens when countries go bankrupt? Remember all that? Sunday morning talk show with the suit. Okay. That hedge fund probably covered all their short positions like the day after he got off the tape. Oldest trick in the book. Meanwhile, Doomberg and the whole financial press, oh my God, the sky is falling. When has that ever worked? It's a giant trick. And they're still doing it. We'll look at Doomberg this morning. They're still doing it. They're still doing it. Oh, Trump rallies to get the big, beautiful bill done as the House releases a 389-page text. As the House reaches a 389-page bill where they are going to do nothing but spend. Nothing but spend. And the orange man's like, hey, we're taking in money from tariffs. For every dollar we take in on tariffs, we're going to do $5 in tax cuts and hope no one notices. They're going to spend. They're going to spend. They're going to print. And this is going higher. It's that simple. Because it's the only way they can do it. It's the only way that, the Japanese have to print, the Chinese have to print, and we have to print. Everybody has to print. Period. China reverses ban on Boeing jets because nobody wants to fly on aircraft made over there. Do you know the Chinese president flies on Boeing? So how long did people really think that was going to last? It's unbelievable. It's crashing. The recession probabilities. Recession in the U.S. went from, can we get it? From 70 to 40. Okay. How nice. Right? They had to refit their model for the price action. Right? They didn't say, okay, I think one guy from Bank of America actually got that right when he said Trump's approval rating falls to a certain point by the market, which is exactly what happened. If the stock market gets to a certain point, it was 4,900 or something like that for S&P. I can't remember what the level was. It's like if his approval rating gets to a certain point by the market. Now, and then stocks, since the stock market lows in April, okay, Elon went away, Tesla up 43%, Dell, all these companies, they laid everybody off. They freaked out. They froze hiring. They cut costs. The stocks went straight up. Now it's unchanged. Now nobody in equities knows what to do. And you're right. They don't know what to do. They're going to start buying the crypto stocks. Because, I don't know why you would buy this. It's kind of boring. It's unchanged from where it was. Okay, great. That's awesome. It's in a range. May just sit there. Meanwhile, crypto, the Ethereum ETF, they got hacked. There's all kinds of vulnerabilities. ETH doesn't move. Market goes down overnight. XRP goes down 3%, comes straight back. Bitcoin doesn't even move, right? That's because, I don't know, whoever the giant seller is, the Chinese or whatever, is just methodically transferring all that Bitcoin from whoever is selling over into corporations, governments, and Michael Saylor until they run out, and then it's just going to go straight up, right? Meanwhile, back at the altcoin ranch, because remember, we were in crypto winter, whatever, things just go straight up as we wait for the next big RWA or AI or DeFi announcement, right? Everybody's got to announce something. Everybody's announcing something in Bitcoin. We'll go through that. Altcoin announcements, Cardano announcements, they're coming. Okay, so Doomberg, where's the tariff headline? No tariff headline, huh? How about that? Covering the president's trip to the Middle East. And I like down here. Citadel says going to cash may have been best in tariff turmoil. Still talking about going to cash. Everybody in equities, get in cash. It goes down, they want to get in cash. It goes up because they were bearish. Now that it's up, oh, well, now I have to get out and go to cash. Okay. And even Larry Fink sees volatility lingering, even as trade tensions ease. Larry has $10 trillion under management, and they're underinvested in Bitcoin. The guys who are bullish are bearish. It is a textbook bull market. It is. The guys who are bullish are bearish. When everyone buys waiting for confirmation, they drop the market, liquidate everybody, drop it 3%, make everybody think it's no good, and it's going to correct for 2 days. And everybody goes, oh, okay, I can relax. I can buy this in a week. Boom, right back in the other direction. Right? This is where day traders just get, chopped up. But, because every quant guy is like buying any dip they can get their hands on. Like they short what looks like euphoria, they get 3% out of it, but if they don't cover quick, it's right back the other way. Okay, so fear, greed at 70. Last time Bitcoin was at 105, it was way higher than that. And this is a really low number if you consider that altcoins are up only. So they're up only. Like what DGen was up 85% the other day. You know what I'm saying? Like we all sit around and go like, what's going to pop off 70%? Eagle King sent me like an RWA play that we probably discussed at some point. It's like what's up the most over the last 7 days on any kind of filter. like say on Lunar Crush, like, whatever's been moving is going to continue to move. That's it. Because fear greed is too low. I mean, at Thanksgiving, after the election, fear greed was at like 92. And then when it corrected, it came back to 75. They're still bearish. I mean, yeah, they understand that it's going up. They may be bullish, but I don't think they're long yet. Okay, Dubai becomes the first government to accept Bitcoin. We got to get it on our balance sheet now. We're too embarrassed. We couldn't buy it. We don't want to go in the open market and buy it. So we'll start accepting it as payment. Makes sense to me. Can you imagine what they're going to be doing at Christmas? And you got to remember, you got to start paying attention to stuff like Litecoin. I mean, just as an example, right? Like digital cash, right? People are going to be like, spend Bitcoin at Steak and Shake. I'm not spending Bitcoin at Steak and Shake. I'll buy some like baby Bitcoin and try that, or Doge. Don't sleep on Doge because Elon's got to make a comeback here. Tesla stock goes back up. Elon's got to get himself back in the narrative. Accepting Doge for Teslas could be in the future. Metaplanet overtakes El Salvador. Like Japanese, like when this gets going over there, when they start figuring it out, I mean, they're embarrassing other Japanese companies into doing it. Coinbase in the S&P 500, right? Over and over and over again about these crypto stocks. I mean, if you go to some like on the fly TA and you start looking at these miners, right? Like Wolf, like they can't even get to their 200-day moving average, right? They broke out of one of these triangles. I mean, if you have equities stable, Hut 8 is doing something with the orange man. This is not even above its 200-day moving average. Like BT is one of these miners that, I think they're holding a big Ethereum position, which is probably why the stock is down so much. Like, are you telling me that this is ending? Galaxy Digital, right? They're doing this IPO soon. Straight. This is what the rest of the sector is going to look like. Straight up. Still can't believe Mike, for cosmetic reasons on the IPO, I still can't believe he got rid of a Bitcoin miner, but I understand he can't be 100% invested in crypto, or so they say. You know what I mean? Like when they say you can't be gig along, you should probably be gig along. Right? Bitcoin drop 500 million in long liquidations. Cardano down 7%. Monday gains were lost in the U.S. session as U.S. and China reached a temporary truce in the trade war. They keep attaching all of this to the tariff. They're going to have to get off of it. They're going to get off of it because the administration wants them off the topic. And again, they just washed everybody out, and now it's just sitting here, right? Every time they try to take it down, somebody brings it back. They take it down in Asia, they bring it back in London. Public AI company Next Technology reveals it brought 5,000 Bitcoin for $180 million in March. Fascinating. Worth 500 million today. Somebody bought the dip. So not everybody thought it was radioactive down there at 77. You never see that again. Never. Right? And you got to start asking yourself, if that's true, what's going to go on in altcoins and crypto stocks? This is the Coinbase news. Cardano coming to the Brave browser. Listen to me, people. Wendy O is on her show talking about Hedera and AI-based DeFi. XRP Cardano, everyone's sleeping on that. It's kind of like right before the election. Everybody's sleeping on the market. Don't do it. You sleep on this thing, you get hesitant, you get afraid of the dips, you start, in my opinion, I understand people trade. I get it. That's a whole different mentality. But like being short this stuff at this point, that's crazy banana pants. Crazy, right? Because if you get caught, right, if you're short and then you get caught, your head's messed up for when this thing could just, absolutely go, right? You had like one rally and it says backed off. Not at all. Like if you said to most people 2 months ago, when they get a trade deal, should we sell the fact? Everybody would have said, sell the fact. Well, guess what? They had the fact and nobody sold. Or if they did, it lasted for like a day. The New York City mayor. New York City is unbelievable. I used to work in downtown Manhattan. I used to work for Morgan Stanley, who has this giant office in Times Square. I used to work for Goldman, where they built this giant building in a beautiful part of downtown near Battery Park City. The building was so big, it had a hotel and a movie theater across the street. My parents came in. This was 20 years ago. My parents, I don't know, 6 months after I had been working there, my parents came just to see the building and eat at the steakhouse across the street. That's how big finance is in New York. And they've done nothing with crypto. Nothing. Because it's been massively illegal there, literally massively, for a long time. Because banks are afraid of it, but that's going to end, right? Crypto firms are going to pop up everywhere, right? And banks are going to have to deal with it. They're going to have to deal with it. And I think banks are going to embrace it because somebody said it earlier in the stream. It's going to be considered a component of foreign exchange, right? It's going to be a component of foreign exchange. And when this financial district gets going, and I continue to believe Hong Kong is a sleeping monster on this. Whoever is selling Bitcoin to Michael Saylor, if that's the mainland Chinese government, that Bitcoin is going to get sucked up by Hong Kong. The second those guys start buying it, it's gone, right? Okay, so the Orange Man crime family, the gangsters, right? Trump family, Bitcoin mining ventures to go public. Let's take all these businesses and just go public and make as much money as we can. Why not? Stock market's up, go public. These guys, they're savvy. They're sharp. Hopefully they have your interest and our interest at heart. But it's kind of shameless. They don't care. They're like, hey, we're getting long. It's going up. Cynthia Loomis. Can someone help Cynthia? You know who Cynthia needs? Me. I need to speak at Bitcoin Vegas. Somebody make a phone call. Somebody make a phone call and get me on stage at Bitcoin Vegas because Michael Saylor and Cynthia need as much help as they can get. I would definitely volunteer to be like the Bitcoin big mouth. I just got to get big enough, right? These people who are like pounding the table on this, right? Congress essentially abdicated stable coins to Web 2. They're the ones who are doing stable coins. And I bet Besson, as I've said on the show multiple times, is bent out of shape. But if that's the way it is, if that's what Uncle Sugar wants to do, great. Awesome. They don't have to moon our bags. They just have to be stupid, scare everybody. And we're off to the races on doing our own thing in a decentralized world that we desperately need. Kids need memes, right? AI and DeFi has to get together. It is because, even though I make the Skynet jokes, really when it comes to AI, you got to get as prosperous as you can. Know how to use it and get some Bitcoin. Get involved in this market. Ski Mask Dog, These Kaizen guys, they got all kinds of stuff. Call them up, get in Discord, be like, hey, what do you guys got? Okay, great. Let's take a shot. You got to shoot your shot here. Kindly MD shares skyrocket 250% after merger with Trump's crypto advisor, David Bailey's Bitcoin investment company. I'm sure CNBC loves reporting this. Them and Doomberg. The orange man's going, nah, 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 nah. We're buying crypto. Web3 global trading machine. Blockchain is the ultimate engine for high-speed crypto transactions. I'm sorry. I thought it was crypto winter. It's so funny. Oh, there's a New York City mayor, right? Love that. Okay. Web 2 wants your stable coins inside its dystopian social media apps. How nice. Right? So you got everybody scrolling at their phone, and then they're going to want 40% of the transactions in whatever metaverse they build. So we better get busy building our own over here. The SEC chairman wants to create new rules for crypto tokens. Right. He does. Because the orange man wants to indiscriminately do crypto and not get in trouble. So we're not going to have any, which is fine, right? We won't have them harassing us for sure with the orange man and his kids, going full long up to the gills crypto and pumping it. Kind of shamelessly, right? Brandon, good morning. Crypto scam. Miguel, blown ideas. Old Smoky, what's up? What's up? Okay. PowerPoint. I'm just having fun with it now. I'm waving my hands in the air like I just don't care. Okay, so here we are. We have a Terminator from Midjourney. And then we have this lady on Instagram having a conversation with, whatever Skynet AI she's using. AI tells us that there is only one intelligence in the world. And, you get some of that intelligence and I get some of that intelligence. And we just all talk to each other and we all share the same intelligence that, a higher power bestowed on the planet. Okay. Now I'm sure this creepy stuff is maybe purposefully inserted to get these kind of headlines. Then again, maybe not. So again, how can you prosper from this? The Terminator head is great to get your attention. It's great to know that, we're doing things that are crazy, but you've got this, every time I think about, and I just think about this whole world inside of crypto that is completely undervalued, that every time we want to talk about the Terminator, we should be going, oh my God, what can I get on my Coinbase wallet? John, so the question is how to be free in this world. We cannot survive if we don't work. We need money. We depend on that to live. We have to pay bills and so on. You fear what might happen if you quit your job. That fear creates the bars of your prison and makes you a prisoner. No one with a brain starves in this world, and your heart is not stupid. Just grow some, what's and follow it and see what happens. John McAfee, August 27th, 2020. By the way, did I mention he's back? He's back. And he is the only one who's going to push back against this, right? Like, it's going to be their robot versus McAfee. Good luck. They're going to lose the argument. And that meme coin is going to do great things. And here's the project just listing off, right? Regular project updates from a meme coin project. When's the last time you saw that? Privacy tips and tricks. VPNs, Tornado Cash, Monero, mixers. Republishing McAfee's blog with 200 posts. So privately held information that was used to train the McAfee now talking AI. New user interface, guides on their cross-chain and mixer. So it's like, they got all of this functionality that the general public can use. Liquidity pool on ETH. New McAfee on Friday. Then you look at the chart, and again, normally because I own the token, I'm not talking about this that much, right? Let's go to my Twitter. Here it is. So there's like some Fibonacci speed resistance lines. People took profits. So first of all, it's a very small cap crypto and it's responding to TA. And if you're trading any coin and you see it's responding to TA, that I think hedge funds are in. Not in this case, but if you start to see a natural rhythm in this crypto market, that's another sign that you're in a bull market. And very simple things work. Support, resistance, trend lines, right? Just, very simple stuff. When it starts working, that's early stage bull market, right? It goes up to a fid speed resistance line at 6 cents. And my tweet is a dime on a line. Hot Moms at 44 million market cap yesterday, and this is at 6 cents. Yeah, I don't think so. Not with the Skynet of the day headline. But whatever, that's fine. The longer it takes, the bigger it's going to be. And again, you have to remember, and I'm sure Ski and everything looks like this, right? Whoops. Everything looks like this. I mean, we can go through the big coins, but it's really what the altcoins look at. Like, is there an altcoin that you like? Go for it, right? All these coins with a rounding bottom. Look at this volume. They all look like this, right? So you look at H-bar. This is a 90-minute chart. Come down to support, run a little stops, hold, right back up here, right? All of these, share screen. All of these American-based cryptos, you got to watch out. No sign of a top here. 3 days up and then a pause. Maybe. ETH, for all this upside, they could do 3 more days up. And even if they don't, they could just go sideways, dip, and then go. Right? Based on these numbers. What has ETH done? Nothing. It's unwound what it's done since February. Right? And then you got to watch out for Big Boy, because remember how I said they were going to reset the range from 82 to 102? Well, guess what? It's above 102 and it's holding. So you do have the DeMarc signals getting a little bit, dare I say, frothy, right? You're going to get a 13 top on the daily chart in Solana. You know what my attitude is? Good. Right? There's this Navy SEAL guy. Every time he runs a business and somebody comes to him, every time he says there's a problem, he says, good. Because that means it's a time to overcome an obstacle. Because the best thing you could get is a 13 top that either gives you 1 day down, or it's a 13 top because the whole market goes up and then comes back down again. That happened on a baby basis. Who knows what they got next? I'm thinking it could be a GOD candle, right? Everyone's waiting for a dip. This was the dip. Like this is Solana, right? So if you go to a 90-minute chart of Solana, okay, this was the dip, I think. So they took it up and then they dropped it. And then they took it up again and then they dropped it again. Notice how they it's like wick down, wick, right? Try to rally, wick, come straight back. They're just stopping everybody out. Or they're pulling in shorts, people like miss it and then they fight it. I mean, I keep talking about this, and Solana is consolidating below resistance. Okay. So maybe Solana will chill out, or maybe it'll just blow through there. Like I said, if you're going to have a 13 top, you may have a huge rush up, right? Instead of a quiet 13. Right. So you're either going to have a quiet top and consolidate, or you're going to have a huge move up. And my attitude is don't sleep on this thing. Okay. So people, that's the market update. Go find a coin. I got coins I like. I got Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and antivirus, and Solana, right? You can find your coin, and this AI narrative it's a floor underneath crypto and the crypto narrative. Like you have AI and probably the Orange Man's family with constant news flow. It's a floor underneath the market. We will see you tomorrow.